can connect to ourselves from that point, a lot of things will be easy. All right, so I want to ask you a question, because I'm here to talk to you about arts, art and crafts, tourism, and the rest of them. As I said, I'm not going to be calling this slide projection. I want you to tell me what you think art is. What is art to you?
Life.
Art is life. Anyone? So I need somebody to do me a favor. Come. Get a paper, and I want you to take the words that we're going to be saying this evening. So he said art is life. Who else?
Art is crafts.
Art is self. What's art to you?
Art is also an expression felt inside or brought outside through painting or attitude.
Just want one word. Just one.
Expression.
Art is expression.
That is what we do.
That's how we apply
One
it.
word.
Art is also a culture.
I don't want from you again. You're the artist, please. You're doing well. Somebody else. It's easy to come from you because you're the visual artist. Somebody else.
Art is creative.
Creativity.
Okay. Zero.
For now, sir.
Where's the person saying where is Satan? What is art to you?
It is life.
That is life.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to hold on to his word and I want to ask you guys a question. March around the 28th of last year, there was something that broke out which is called COVID-19. And a few weeks after, our government locked everybody inside. What were you doing inside?
Art.
Sewing those masks and selling
Hold your thoughts. I'm serious. I'm serious. If you notice, this is how I teach. You don't have to be all seriousness, but we learn from play. So, I play seriously, I work seriously. You said art.
Art, yes,
Hold
that's
your
what
thoughts.
I was doing.
What were you doing when you were locked inside during the lockdown? What were you doing?
Watching films. I learned meaning position. There social media.
Social media technology.
I learned how to edit my videos and do advert for my product.
Through technology.
I acquired a skill,
What skill?
baking.
Baking. Gastronomy.
I did some online business, retail, then that was how I learned tailoring.
Fashion.
Actually worked online and also I learned creative mobile photography.
Photography. Okay. Technology.
Okay, as for me, I tried some unimaginable things that I have been thinking and I didn't have the time to do, so I took my time to try it, like mosaic painting. I didn't know the name, I just tried it and it worked.
You what? What
Exactly.
medium do you use? Glass.
Glass.
Okay.
Yeah, I did two things. First one was I learned how to make nose mask. I made nose mask and sold it. I made money from the lockdown. Then I also made lots of music video covers.
Music. Okay. Good. You made music or you listen to music?
I did their covers, videos, and posted them.
When basically throughout that period, I was shooting skits, short skits, and
Video.
Yeah.
Technology. Okay, so you said art. You were doing art. Somebody defined art as life. Who did that?
Yeah, yeah.
That's true.
Okay, so have you ever heard this phrase that said art is the epicenter of human existence?
Yeah. Yes.
So if you take away life, take away art,
Yes.
you know that life is boring.
Yeah.
And so it's an argument today that the only reason why most people survived lockdown is because they watched a movie, they listened to a music, they read a book, they painted, this man painted,
Write songs.
somebody wrote a song,
Learn skills.
Fashion.
Learn
somebody
skills.
did fashion,
Did more of
somebody did
exercising.
photography.
Short skits.
Adverts.
I did more of exercising.
Of course, that's a form
Yes.
of art anyway.
Television
So
art.
the point is, like, art is everything. Life is art. If you take away this art from life, it's going to be boring. And this is something we'll be talking about for long with people and trying to make them understand that art is everything. Stand up. Yes. Sorry. So, are you okay? Are you comfortable?
Yeah.
All right. Can someone look at her lips? Does she wear that every time?
No.
So when she removes it, does she look different?
Yes.
She might.
Sorry, sir.
Somebody will stand up. Okay. Any different view?
Yes.
Yes.
Which one do you like earlier? Which one do you like most?
The former.
Because,
Formal, yes.
what happened? She
She
used
lost-
something to enhance her look. And what was that?
Circles.
Does she know that she was making art when she did that? Do you know that every time you paint your lips is art? Do you know? Okay, sit down. So one of the ways to prove that art is everything is that give a child a pen. You know the first thing the child does?
Write
Drawing,
anything.
writing.
Anything.
The scribble.
Yes.
So the first form of expression is scribbling, which is the first form of everything that existed. The guy who made that glass drew it first. Picasso said that everybody is born an artist until they grow up. And so that statement followed me for long. I took it very serious. And then I also understand that when you grow up, what happens? I want you to be a poet. What dies in you? What dies in him? The art dies. When my parents says they want us to, not that it's bad to be a pilot. I'm not saying it's bad to be a pilot. But everybody is given a divine gift of art. And everybody heard about Pope John Paul's letter to the artist. So it's late John, oh my God, it's not John.
Pope John Paul.
So it's not my fault because you know how
On men gone no
so,
more.
since they started deconstructing
On gone no more.
phrases like that, so it's easy for me to even Pope John everything. But the guy is number 2, Pope
John
Paul.
Paul.
John
John
Paul.
Paul.
Ah,
John Paul is there.
please give me one.
Pope John Paul.
John Paul is
Okay, so the second, he wrote a letter in 1994 to the artist. And he said, I hope I might not be able to quote verbatim, but he said that the gift of art is the gift that is a divine gift bestowed on the artist by God. And if you feel a spark of any of this, music, poetry, dance, painting, kind of forms, that please you should try and grow it, not for yourself alone, for the betterment of the environment. So imagine Pavarotti, your friend, never performed, never did that Figaro that was of course well. Maybe during COVID, we would have listened to Pavarotti, no? I said to people that, look, what you've been given, any form of, whatever form it is, does not belong to you. put it this way, my dream is not mine. Before I go to that, I want to tell you that whatever you think you can do in any form, and which is why some of you have been selected to be in this place, is actually a very rare thing, because somebody else might not do it. Like if you ask me to sing my gloss, you just, the gatesman will come and close his gate, all of you will go inside. I'm not going to bother myself. So if someone like Pope, late John Paul II, wrote that letter to the artist to say, the gift you find in yourself is a divine gift. And you know when he says a divine thing, do you know that you guys are Christians? I want to believe you. Pardon me. Somebody said his name is
Mohammed.
Yeah. Are you Muslim?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But we all know that we believe in the Almighty God. And one of the things that we all crave for is that communion with Him. And in my own conclusion is that God is an.
And I love your shoes.
Big fan.
I'll give you one leg.
Awesome.
Right. So come. And you come. So we're going to try out something. I don't know whether if I'll talk to you or you haven't thought about it. Okay. So when you go to a shop to buy a shoe and you see the one you like, goes, okay. So, okay. I'll get to the point that I take off my shoes. I hope my sauce doesn't smell. When you go to the shop to buy a shoe you love, when you put your leg, what do you feel?
Comfortable.
What do you feel? This is the word I'm looking for. Bring your shoe. Please look closely. Is it actually written inside the shoe?
No. I want to urinate.
Please come.
Okay.
Is anywhere happy is written inside the shoe?
No, sir.
Okay, so. Sorry. This is a Kevin Klein. And there's no happy written inside.
Yes.
But Kevin Klein had a dream to build a shoe. And I had a test to wear a shoe. So at the moment he realized his dream,
Yeah.
it was my own fulfillment. Is it making sense? Is it making sense? So, comedian, you want to rephrase it?
No.
Because you're thinking your face like that. So, each point you think about your art, your gifting, and you say to yourself, this doesn't belong to me. The moment you realize it is somebody's need. Somebody's an entrepreneur in this house.
Yes.
So, what is the best way to make business? To find a need and fill it. Right? So when you discover a need, you provide solution. So the same thing with your creativity. It is a gift inside, and it's a dream. And so when you realize that your dream, somebody is interested in realizing a dream. Realizing even a dream, yes, of fulfilling their happiness. Somebody who wants to drive a Porsche doesn't probably know the guy who started it. Okay, let's talk about Henry Ford, the guy who made the first car, the guy who took engines from the front to from the back to the front. Thank you. He was asked, did you ask men what they like before you moved that thing? He said most men don't know what they want. So if you ask them, they will say they wanted faster horses. So but if you always remember that my dream is somebody's fulfillment. If you realize your dream, you're fulfilling your dream, or you say to yourself, my dream doesn't belong to me, you are going to harness your creativity to the level you'll be surprised. And if you go to that letter, Google it. The letter by
John Paul.
Okay. If you Google that, you will see, you will probably read meanings inside. Thank you. Sit down. Alright, I've been very serious. I'm going to do something very serious but playful. I can hear myself. Can't get everybody cover this notes. Alright, so I wanted them to give you guys a paper. So this is a break-up section, and the next section we're going to turn on the lights. We're going to talk about creativity and darkness. It's not going to be scary, but I want this light to be turned off. Yes, I'll call for it, but not now. So bring out your paper. I need a sheet of paper from all of you. You're not writing, just bring out the piece of paper. Borrow me one. You have it. Oh, really? It's not offering them. I'm not collecting offering.
Thank you.
Okay, so I want you to, as much as you can, look at my hand and follow the steps. It's probably the most complicated thing I've ever done. So the first thing you have to do is to make the paper to be square. So you do it like this. Sorry, I should have told them to get this paper out before. When you fold it to the tip like this, you're going to get a square paper. Something is missing it. No? Okay, fine. Yours is going to be problematic because of her age. Can you please borrow her? Something doesn't have this. Thank you. No, use this part first. So I want you to remove this part. So when you get to this point, fold it like this. Look. That's not it. You're not getting it. You guys at the back, I will with you. Football. Okay. So, we're going to take out something. What we're actually looking for is clear paper. So if you use your nails and rub it, boss, this is what you're supposed to do. And then, if you like to put spit on it to get it wet, and you can cut it. So this is square, huh? Let's get the square paper, and I'm going to go to the next stage. Guys, maybe you watch me food first, and then you can follow. No, I haven't started. I'll try and come and start. You don't want to say anything. Alright, so I'll fold first, and then I'll run the second stage with you guys. So do yourself a favor and watch me. Please don't think you know what I'm folding. People always make mistakes when they start thinking they know what I'm doing, because that's when you will not look at the steps. Right? So, okay. So I turned it again and I drew a line. So this is my guideline. So you can see 4 lines inside. So I'll fold this edge to this point. And I take this part again and fold. Please don't go after me, just wait. As you follow me, I'll make you do it alone. I made 4 folds again. Yeah? And I'm turning it again, face down, and I'm folding again. What's your name, artist? Emmanuel, right? What do you think I'm folding? Smart guy. Okay, so I come really close. So I've done another fold. This is the third fold. Then I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And this. And that. And that. And that. And that. Who think he knows what I'm doing?
Star. Star.
Okay, let's see.
Star.
Hold on. Does this still look like a boat?
Ah.
Does it?
It looks like
Is it a boat?
butterfly.
If it's a boat, I want to spoil the boat there. Who says he likes my shoe earlier?
Me.
Who? You. Who said? You. Come. But wait, when I finish, you can come. So I'll give you your own shoe now. So come. Yes, I'm still folding. Now I'm stop folding. So come. We'll do it, don't worry. This is exercise, it's just chill. Open your hands.
Hey.
Wow.
Wonderful.
What?
Congratulations. About Penta. Voilà.
Because let me tell you guys what I used to do with this thing. When I was very young, if I have a girl, I'm just trying to show some stuff. I'll just put it back now. Who wants to learn to use it? I want to learn.
I want to learn. I don't know. That is
Okay, so we'll do another step together. Should we?
Yes, sir.
I need another paper. Like, this guy, I can see your, just imagine what he's going to do with this food if he learns
They'll
it.
hear me if I reach out.
Yeah?
Oh, my area.
Please, you need to see the napalm on his face. They don't go like in his face.
But the sweet part is when I will tell her to hold and unveil.
And you put it
So you see the magic there? And then she'll just like you. You don't even take her out again.
For me, that one.
It's dead black price.
But then took it over.
But it worked. It worked when I was here. I don't know about these chicks and things. This one is like no paper. The way you are smiling, like
Pepper, good job.
paper good job. Somebody can cry for this food. Oh my God, it's amazing! How did you do it?
No, you will. This girl's
Okay, so let's go now. That people will give you problem at the age because of that stain on that side.
I noticed that.
So do you have?
Get paper for
Are you ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
I don't have problem with the age. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, so let's do this second fold. You're supposed to face the camera, right? So you get it, right?
Like this, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
No, you haven't done your second fold. So you have to open the paper and then you get a line across. This is the last time I'm going to take something from you. You have to follow the steps. Huh? So do the second fold. Like you just fold it across the other edge. Very simple. And then you just see a line. And if your line is straight now, you get a good work. If your line is wrong, you will always be wrong till the end.
My account will be that. Post nonsense ledger.
Okay, so you take this page to the center. Please try and keep the tip of this line to this tip of this line, like this. Just watch please first. Can you see? Sir. The guys at the back, just get it to this point. Okay. And maybe to make it easy, you do the opposite one as well. But I don't fold with any particular reading, so just for you guys, maybe you got to do something like this. Good. And then we'll do another one like this. And then we fold the last one so you get the square paper again. Good, footballer. Our missing the hands. Remember, this is where people miss it. This fold. At this point, people miss it. So you're not folding inside. You're folding opposite.
Again to the center.
Yes. Yes, to the center. Okay. So you're going to get a square again.
So,
What's that your name again?
Ume Charles.
It's so fast. Plus, because you have planned for this thing, it's going to give you a
I won't miss three.
So I'm determined to work with my wife. So.
Okay. So now, you're going to fold inside, like this part that the paper is more loose.
Yes.
So you fold back.
Okay, wait, sorry.
Sir, this place.
Okay.
Yeah, you fold back.
Back.
Here,
Wait,
back,
wait. See the one we just fold now.
Yes, you fold it.
Okay,
to
fold
like
it
this.
back like this.
So I didn't get that.
So there's a place that the paper is like this,
Okay.
and there's a place that the paper is like this.
Yeah.
So you're folding against the lighter paper side.
Okay.
So you have this. So you can see this line go like this. Yeah, you're right. You get it. You got it. Good. Yes. Okay, so there's a line already facing you. So make it bend to you like this.
Which one now?
So when you hold the paper in front of this edge, bend it to yourself like this.
Okay.
Oh.
This.
No.
Okay.
And then you bend the other one out. This one.
Okay. Let's need the right note for this thing.
This is like this. Okay. Yeah.
This is it, sir.
Yours is already wrong. Even though you keep holding that, I don't think you have a problem. So you're going to get a triangle like that. So you turn it down, it will open in the middle like this.
Okay, down.
So, let's see.
So you have it, so could face it to be a pyramid, like a triangle facing up. Then when you turn it down,
Suppose.
it's pointing down, so you open in the middle like this.
Okay.
Yes.
Then you press it back.
Like
Yes. So you get a square again.
Mm.
Yes, open and press.
Yeah.
Okay. We press this.
Open the windows and stuff.
Okay.
We got to if I go back, I know if
That's it.
Actually, this is another copy.
Yours is your tangled already, I've seen it.
Let it
It's not gonna work. Just watch. So you have this back for another square. Okay, so this. So look at this now. Look, so there's a 4 points somewhere.
Yes.
So you take the flip here, like the flap here, and you fold back to you again. Yes. And the one on the other edge, you fold it out. No, that's not what you're doing.
To what the point is not to where?
To you, like fold it to yourself. Like
Okay.
Will the tip get to the end or halfway?
you're going to get a tip again. They don't go off the line.
Okay.
So this
Just look at this hand.
Is it like
has to be straight.
And then you go back.
Yes.
Okay, the other, okay.
And so you try to let it open on its own. Now this is tricky. And you press the middle and open it like that to get another square. Okay, so see. So we're here now. And then we go like this. And press back. Yes. So we're here now. And then you go like this. I'm coming to you. You two of them. Go. Okay. You open it again. So you're here. So you open this one. And open the other side.
Where did you miss from now?
Okay. Alright guys. Then you take this tip again back, like what you did before. Face it to yourself. And you face it out again.
So go ahead, anybody.
I'm lost. Find your way back.
I paid my school fees, you said yes.
There's a first thing.
No, you don't need to. If you are lost, then we are dead.
There's a first thing. Go put your way, go turn to wheelbarrow.
They don't have like a triangle again.
Everybody won't make it.
It's getting more complicated actually.
I lost already.
Okay, so you have to. This is where you have to try use this finger to put here. This is where people tear the paper anyway. So no, one finger has to do this for you, not the two. Just one finger. Look, hold it like this. Okay, hold it like this.
Okay.
Imagine you want to do a selfie, and then use this finger. Look. Put it in the middle.
Okay. Hold on. This finger is weird.
Okay, so what this is doing is to stop your paper from going back. On this edge, like on this part, as a thin paper inside, you have to try and pull it gradually.
Yes, I will turn it upside down.
Yes, that's why you're having a problem. Like this?
There's which paper inside it?
This
You
one.
my own close paper, not
Yes.
This one.
Yes.
Like this one.
Where's the paper that is inside? How did you bring it?
Don't even know.
Okay.
The thin paper inside.
Okay, this one.
So like this?
Yeah. How would
So
you
you
do
hold
it?
hold it like this. Bring your hand.
How would I bring it out now?
Only with this coming, if you come, she just pick it up.
You get up.
Yeah.
You get up.
Yes.
Huh?
So if I put this one in front, you know that you have to pull another one.
Okay.
I think it's this one, bro.
Don't remove your hand. Remove your hand.
Is it this one?
Yes.
You? My hand look more like this.
I see.
Number
we need the video. We need video.
So I should do it the other way.
Yes, if you can, do it all four sides. So be careful.
Okay.
All four sides.
Yes, there are papers on 4 sides. Now we have 3 sides left. If you have,
They do it on all sides. No, if it.
have to be careful. If you don't, keep your hand in the middle so it doesn't scatter.
So that's one we're holding now.
And so now you've done this, close it like this. Let me see. And turn it round and do the same thing.
I don't even understand my own anymore.
You will not understand.
So do it on this side. Yes, it's not going to come out well.
Oh, I'm afraid I don't want to scatter.
Then if you turn it, what do
Put
you
it,
do?
hold it. No,
What's
you're
it?
the one spoiling it. Hold it like this.
No, 4 sides. So like this.
So you can do the other side. Good. It's almost there.
Like
That paper that you remove from the 4 sides.
Yeah, so you open the
okay,
other
that
ones.
one's I remove.
Remove from the 4 sides.
So now you're free to open on the 4 sides and then fold it to look like a boat. So fold it together now. Fold it around like this. Yes, it has to look like a boat. Yes. If you get a canoe, it's wrong.
Alright. All I need to do.
Just do the other 2 sides as well. So you try press it down so it's, this is just this. 1, 2 more, 4 steps away from the work. We're finished.
What?
It's almost done.
Okay.
What's the
About this knowledge is lost on me. I know.
Yeah, guys, serious.
Yes,
This
Wazir.
is very creative. You know how to do it, you enjoy it. So turn it down, like, turn it down. Under it, there's a paper. You have to clearly pull it slowly. Go back, sir.
Where's the
Go
paper?
back, just push it back.
This one.
Yes, yes. So pull it like this. So see here, face it down, and then you to open on the back like this, on the top, sorry, and then you like you want to bring out $1, you draw it out. And so when you draw it out, you see a fold already that it has a fold. So keep the fold at this age. Don't let it. You're gone already. You're lost.
Where's the boat?
This one.
Okay.
Let me see. Like this.
From this one, only like
You've done 2 of them already, so just hold on.
see, I've done
This one,
Let's
but
move faster.
because you got the 2 sides. You what you said, the 2 sides.
You want to do the so let's
Yeah,
move
wait,
faster.
hold on. We should go faster.
With each others.
Okay.
At this point, what do I do? I'm sorry, sir.
I don't know where you are. That.
Because the thing, that's what I'm saying.
Hold on. So here.
I don't know, I'm scared by project.
You haven't opened yours. So you are just
I need 2 sides.
No, sir.
Okay, you open.
I need 2 sides.
Yeah. So you can do it 2 sides now.
Move the other side.
Yes, do the other side.
You don't make up to scatter.
So do the other side and keep it look like this. Make it look like this.
Huh?
I did not see that.
Just do the other thing I did on the other side. Both of them have paper inside.
Yes.
So just bring out the other one and keep it looking like this.
Okay.
You fold it yours back again.
Like this.
I don't know I think on
Like this.
Close it. Yes. I don't want this kind of.
I can't even get to that door. I forgot to hear it. I say.
Alright, so this is the last 2 stages.
I did this thing in a few seconds.
So like, I was thinking what the plan.
Very fine. All of a sudden,
It's now good.
So if you have this, so look closely, just now, this age, just take this one. Wait, I'll come to you, just come down. So you just take this one like this. and you turn around, take this one, turn around, and you fold back.
Yeah?
Remember, you have a guiding line. If you go off the guiding line, wait. If you go off the guiding line, you're not going to have a good work.
So that means there are 3 triangles.
Go back where I come from.
See like this.
Yes.
You do not have anything in the middle now. You don't have anything in the middle.
Where did I see
And you hold it. Guys, we're going on. Okay, so you fold it back now. Yeah, so yeah, just done. Hold it. Oh.
Sir, I'm right?
Yes.
Okay.
I say we are right. Let me see.
No, open them.
He did like this. Let's see, we put our own like this. But I guess he did your like this.
No.
That's what he did. See now.
You can get them wrong long time.
See that stage we are here. See, you don't have it. Give me a show you. See, when you stop here, I think this is what he now did.
Okay.
First kata is still there. If you take it back, you lost. I don't put it. No. It folded like this.
Okay, guys. That's the last stage. Okay. Are we good to go?
So let's see.
It's fine.
Are we supposed?
Yes, it's right. Just wait for it.
No.
I need to see it like this. Like, okay, you open it. Yeah. So if you know how to open it, then open it.
Yeah, I thought I got it.
I love you.
Sir, see
How
where
are you
I am.
opening it?
Sir,
See.
I'm very close.
Okay.
Put it outside instead of inside.
So I was not still wrong.
All right, guys.
Just like that. Open it.
Okay.
So the question I want to ask, did you learn anything in the process?
So I'm sorry, it looks like magic. You don't know, I have questions.
You have questions?
They did now.
So what did you learn in the process? What was your brain like? Were you taxed? Were you sweating? Did you feel relieved at the end that you finished it?
Just like a game of tiki-taka in football.
Game of what?
Game of football, tiki-taka.
Hello. You don't know football.
It's true, yeah.
Clark, it's like you come and you forward.
But still I dance with the score.
The music is
Is
running.
it challenging?
Yes.
Yes, very, very.
Very.
Like what? What can you compare it to in life?
Problems.
Just other maths. Mathematics. This one is
Maze.
maths. It's actually interesting.
You need constant practice.
Running
Yes.
notes.
So hard. You need constant practice.
Like running notes
Okay,
in music.
so that's okay. I want us to hold our thoughts. We're going to watch a video of a guy. His name is Hans. He paints with his hands. He couldn't buy brush. And so he started painting with his hands. He was broke. He lives in New York. I was there in California. when you get back up, went through something that looked like a challenge. But something I want to get out of you guys, as much as it was a joke, it was play, it was fun. So let's listen to this guy, and then you guys will tell me what you think.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Please hold on. Volume. I need to start from the beginning. Volume.
In the beginning. It's good. This is very loud. This is very loud. Watch out.
They go now.
Wait till I do.
First time watching television.
Ideas worth spreading.
So when I was in art school, I developed a shake in my hand, and this was the straightest line I could draw. Now, in hindsight, it was actually good for some things like mixing a can of paint or shaking a Polaroid. But at the time, this was really doomsday. This was the destruction of my dream of becoming an artist. The shake developed out of really a single-minded pursuit of pointillism, just years of making tiny, tiny dots. And eventually, these dots went from being perfectly round to looking more like tadpoles because of the shake. So to compensate, I'd hold the pen tighter, and this progressively made the shake worse, so I'd hold the pen tighter still. And this became a vicious cycle that ended up causing so much pain and joint issues, I had trouble holding anything. And after spending all my life wanting to do art, I left art school, and then I left art completely. But after a few years, I just couldn't stay away from art. I decided to go to neurology last day because I started nursing. And he actually took one look at my squiggly line and said, well, why don't you just embrace the shake? So I did. I went home, I grabbed a pencil, and I just started letting my hands shake and shake. I was making all these scribble pictures. And even though it wasn't the kind of art that I was ultimately passionate about, it felt great. And more importantly, once I embraced the shake, I realized I could still make art. I just had to find a different approach to making the art that I wanted. Now, I still enjoyed the fragmentation of pointillism, seeing these little tiny dots come together to make this unified whole. So I began experimenting with other ways to fragment images where the shape wouldn't affect the work, like dipping my feet in paint and walking on a canvas. Or in a 3D structure consisting of 2x4s, creating a 2D image by burning it with a blowtorch. I discovered that if I worked on a larger scale with bigger materials, my hand really wouldn't hurt. And after having gone from a single approach to art, I ended up having an approach to creativity that completely changed my artistic horizons. This was the first time I'd encountered this idea that embracing the limitation could actually drive creativity. At the time, I was finishing up school, and I was so excited to get a real job and finally afford new art supplies. I had this horrible little set of tools, and I felt like I could do so much more with the supplies I thought an artist was supposed to have. I actually didn't even have a regular pair of scissors. I was using these metal shears until I stole a pair from the office that I worked at. So I got out of school, I got a job, I got a paycheck, I got myself to the art store, and I just went nuts buying supplies. And then when I got home, I sat down and I set myself to test it, really try to create something just completely outside of the box. But I sat there for hours, and nothing came to mind. The same thing the next day, and then the next, quickly slipping into a creative slump. And I was in a dark place for a long time, unable to create. And it didn't make any sense because I was finally able to support my art, and yet I was creatively blank. But as I searched around in the darkness, I realized I was actually paralyzed by all of the choices that I never had before. And it was then that I thought back to my jittery hands, embraced the shake. And I realized if I ever want my creativity back, I had to quit trying so hard to think outside of the box and get back into it. I wondered, could you become more creative then by looking for limitations? What if I could only create with $1's worth of supplies? At this point, I was spending a lot of my evenings in, well, I guess I still spend a lot of my evenings in Starbucks, but I know you can ask for an extra cup if you want one. So I decided to ask for 50. Surprisingly, they just handed them right over, and then with some pencils I already had, I made this project for only 80 cents. It really became a moment of clarification for me that we need to first be limited in order to become limitless. I took this approach of thinking inside the box to my canvas and wondered what if instead of painting on a canvas, I could only paint on my chest. So I painted 30 images, one layer at a time, one on top of another, with each picture representing an influence in my life. Or what if instead of painting with a brush, I could only paint with karate chops? So I dipped my hands in paint and I just attacked the canvas, and I actually hit so hard that I bruised a joint in my pinky and it was stuck straight for a couple weeks. Or what if instead of relying on myself, I had to rely on other people to create the content for the art? So for 6 days I lived in front of a webcam, I slept on the floor, and I ate takeout. And I asked people to call me and share a story with me about a life-changing moment. Their stories became the art as I wrote them onto the revolving canvas. Or, what if instead of making art to display, I had to destroy it? This seemed like the ultimate limitation, being an artist without art. This destruction idea turned into a year-long project that I called Goodbye Art, where each and every piece of art had to be destroyed after its creation. In the beginning of Goodbye Art, I focused on forced destruction, like this image of Jimi Hendrix, made with over 7,000 matches. Then I opened it up to creating art that was destroyed naturally. I looked for temporary materials, like spitting out food, sidewalk chalk, and even frozen wine. The last iteration of destruction was to try to produce something that didn't actually exist in the first place. So I organized candles on a table, I lit them and then blew them out. Then repeated this process over and over with the same set of candles. Then assembled the videos into the larger image. So the end image was never visible as a physical whole. It was destroyed before it ever existed. In the course of this Goodbye Art series, I created 23 different pieces with nothing left to physically display. What I thought would be the ultimate limitation actually turned out to be the ultimate liberation, as each time I created, the destruction brought me back to a neutral place where I felt refreshed and ready to start the next project. It did not happen overnight. There were times when my projects failed to get off the ground, or even worse, after spending tons of time on them, the end image was kind of embarrassing. But having committed to the process, I continued on, and something really surprising came out of this. As I destroyed each project, I was learning to let go. Let go of outcomes, let go of failures, and let go of imperfections. And in return, I found a process of creating art that's perpetual and unencumbered by results. I found myself in a state of constant creation, thinking only of what's next, and coming up with more ideas than ever. When I think back to my 3 years away from art, away from my dream, just going through the motions. Instead of trying to find a different way to continue that dream, I just quit. I gave up. And what if I didn't embrace the shake? Because embracing the shake for me wasn't just about art and having art skills. It turned out to be about life and having life skills. Because ultimately, most of what we do takes place here, inside the box, with limited resources. Learning to be creative within the confines of our limitations is the best hope we have to transform ourselves and collectively transform our world. Looking at limitations as a source of creativity changed the course of my life. Now when I run into a barrier or I find myself creatively stumped, I sometimes still struggle, but I continue to show up to the process and try to remind myself of the possibilities. Like using hundreds of real live worms to make an image. using a push pin to tattoo a banana. Or painting a picture with hamburger grease. One of my most recent endeavors is to try to translate the habits of creativity that I've learned into something others can replicate. Limitations may be the most unlikely of places to harness creativity, but perhaps one of the best ways to get ourselves out of ruts, rethink categories, and challenge accepted norms. And instead of telling each other to seize the day, maybe we can remind ourselves every day to seize the limitation. Thank you.
Apology.
Just give it up.
Now, in hindsight, it was actually good for some things like mixing a can of paint or shaking a Polaroid. But at the time, this was really doomsday. This was the destruction of my dream of becoming an artist. The shape developed out of really a single-minded pursuit of pointlessness, just years of making tiny, tiny dots. And eventually, these dots went from being perfectly round to looking more like tadpoles because of the
Alright. Are we still here?
Not here again.
So do you think that food was tough? Compared to that guy's life?
Never.
No, it's not.
No.
So did anybody learn anything from that video? Did
Yeah.
anybody hit you?
Yes.
Or something you want to share?
Yes.
I just learned that impossibility and limitations is actually a state of the heart. That's one thing I'm going up with. It's because the man's resilience and determination is simply amazing.
Thank you.
I learned that no matter how defect or abnormal you think you are, you can still be productive.
Thank you.
Embracing the limitation can drive creativity.
The lady, sorry, you wanted to say?
Yeah, I learned believing in yourself despite your limitations and trying to bring out the best in you, no matter what people say.
Okay, I learned that everything is in your mind. It's just in your mind. Success or failure, you just have to choose one.
Okay.
I will start with this quote. Fear any man that has finished the construction in his mind.
Who said it?
I learned it from a dream, Apostle Simon. Fear the man that has finished the construction in his mind. That is the worst method someone can use.
Yeah.
And that is what he used. And nothing is a waste in life.
Myself. Okay. I learned that oftentimes what we see as our weakness might be our greatness, but we really have to embrace it.
I learned that practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
What I learned is persistence. The guy was very uncomfortable with his comfort zone, so he was constantly trying with the limited resources he had.
That's what I wanted to say. I mean, one of the first I've said, but the main essence of this one is to embrace what you think might be your limitation. Keep recording, embrace it. So most of the things that we think are limitation, something that might likely use, but don't want to embrace it. We just want to leave that part.
I learned that no matter how my boot is bad, I can still play well. Wow.
There's something that he did. He said he was supposed to think outside the box. He thought inside the box.
The first time, yeah. it's
He
crazy.
said he wanted to think outside the box, but he ended up
He has to come back into the
thinking
box.
into the
He
box.
thought outside the box.
Yeah,
It didn't work.
No, he thought outside the box and couldn't find himself. He
Yeah.
had to
come back inside the box.
He went outside the box and he went in and found his creativity.
In
I
the
wanted to
box.
ask him that he go back inside the box.
So this is a metaphor you guys can play around your mind and sometimes have a conversation about it. Somebody even recently said, also think as if there is no boss.
Mm.
I know we'll be making a boss, huh? Yes.
But so he accepted the reality, the fact that even though he had some defects, the pain, joint issues on the neck, he could go on, even the shake. So he learned how to make use of both his limitation and then his greatness. The key thing that his drive there was his passion. So he never forgot that.
He tried using things he never imagined to draw.
All right.
Found opportunity.
This last two.
He didn't give up, especially when he discovered that one was not working. He had to devise another means. So he did not give up.
I learned about self-development. The man created his own art using his inability to.
Okay, so this is your last words. It's going to take us to the next thing I'm going to do. It's probably the last thing I'm going to say. I wanted us to turn off the light, but I think they are recording. I won't do that. So when I talk about this, it's usually best experience when the light is turned off. But there's something he said that I thought was what he wanted to say. He said, in his darkness, remember that he found himself again, which is synonymous to outside, inside the box, metaphor that I was using. Okay, so I was curating an exhibition for someone, and it was supposed to be called Darkness. So what I was doing for him opened up a new form of thought for me, the power of darkness. There's power in darkness. The guy was alone, so we use sometime alone to say darkness. Like if you're alone in your house, you shut the power. I'm in my dark moment, I'm alone. So most of us are scared of being alone. But this is, so when I say darkness, I'm also talking about being alone, finding yourself alone. So it's not just like physical darkness. I am saying to you, do not be afraid of finding yourself alone. Or that point in your life that you're alone is the greatest point of your life that you can take advantage of. As a Newton, the apple fell on his head when he was alone under the apple tree. Have you? Yeah. What's this guy? Einstein? 101 many times did he try the bombs? He didn't say that people helping him. So it goes like this. The power of darkness. We started 9 months when you are in your mother's womb. 9 great, I'm going to use the F word, delete it on the camera. Fucking 9 months in darkness. Have you ever seen light inside the stomach? Come. You. So just hold your thoughts as it's coming. My question is, did he go to the market to buy this clothes? Where did he come out from? His hand. Have you bought any hand since you were born? No, not yet. Do you know this doesn't decompose? Do you know? Scientifically, it doesn't decompose. Yes. Even the teeth doesn't. Nobody comes out after 9 months and go to supermarket. I want to buy one teeth. Have you heard about it? Buy one hair. Have you heard about it? Aside that, everything you need to be, you need to be in this world was from 9 months in your mother's womb. And I was not there. He was not there. You alone from the truth. So be not scared of darkness. In other words, be not scared to find yourself alone. Thank you.
from this level to, I don't know, you didn't even touch all aspects. I know the kind of person you is, but thank you so much for honoring this invitation, and thank you for the little impact you've made. I know with time, okay, for those of you that want to have one-on-one with him, the guy is a great guy.
Yes.
If you go to his studio, you'll be marveled. If you go to his studio, you'll be marveled with what he has. So we are glad to have him in our meeting, and we're glad to have him share some of his experiences with us. So we'll quickly prepare for our presentation, okay? So he can see us and then
Okay.
So how are you going to do it? Group by group?
Yes.
We're going to come on stage. So quickly, so that
you know the order already, right? Right? So how many minutes do you have each?
5 minutes. Not more than 5 minutes.